If you're trying to get your ex back, there is one thing you need to do first, and that's to get you back. In the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna make your life a lot more simple, a lot more clear. It's not complicated. When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. When you feel great, you become the kind of person people want to be and the kind of person people want to be around. But feeling great ain't a concept. It's not an idea. It's a skill. Even more accurately put, it's a conditioning. When you feel great, that is the crux, the fuel, the foundation to make everything come true. That is what shifts your relationships in your favor. But again, feeling great is a skill. It's a conditioning. Well, the only reasons why people go many years or decades without even addressing the core is very simple. Most people confuse times in their life where things are going their way. It's very easy to confuse times in your life where you're in Disney World or on vacation or everything's going your way. Just because you can feel good when things are going your way, that is not a skill. The real question is, can you still feel good when things are not going your way? Because the truth is, when your emotions get the better of you, that's exactly when you say and do things you should not be saying or doing. Contrary to popular belief, sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. So if you really want to change the trajectory of your relationship and really rebuild it from the ashes, you first have to get you back. People respond in accordance to the version of you bring to the table. If you get yourself feeling good, you'll start speaking differently, making different decisions, and you'll actually become the kind of person that people want to fight for. Super simple. Address the emotional core, your relationships and your life will turn around. Are you sick and tired of living an emotional Groundhog Day? Do you want to finally feel like yourself again? Awesome. Great. Let's do it. It is go time. All right, so here's the first step. First step in your resurrection is to attend my 5 shifts to go from pain to power in days. Not weeks, not months, not years, days. So if you look below the video, you'll see a nice, easy link there to go attend my webinar. Again, it's fully free. See the link below? Click it. It'll then take you to a page, just like you see here. Obviously, you're going to claim your spot. You click the link and then put in your name. Simple as that. Book your spot. Within a few minutes, you'll have an opportunity to attend, and I will show you a world you won't believe. But yeah, this is it. This is the first step here. And by the way, after you're done, you'll have an opportunity to book a call with me, not one of my coaches, me personally, okay? So that's it. This is your first step here. Enjoy the webinar and speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Yeah, John, it's very good to have you here, man. You know, you're definitely, again, one of my favorite clients from like the last year, because you work fucking hard. You were ready for it. You know, from the very beginning, you had the right attitude. You were willing to work hard. You understood this, and I try to do the best I can to make it clear. Not a magic trick, but you always had a great attitude. You always worked hard. And look, man, you had a lot of things to work through, but you did the work. So let me ask you, maybe just kind of to start here, you know, without getting any specifics at all, you know, you had some challenges. Compared to how it was 6 or 7 weeks ago, when it comes to handling things, bouncing back, how would you describe your experience as far as the version of you are now versus how you were just 6 weeks ago? Again, we all know that doesn't mean anything's changed. Like, you still have challenges, but your ability to handle them, show up at a different level, you even have some fun along the way. How would you say things have changed for you in just 6 or 7 weeks?
Definitely speaking better, talking better. You had a slogan I was going to write down. That's why I was looking for a pen just now.
Okay.
When you speak better, when you feel better, you speak better. I'd like to take a note on that so I don't forget it, because I always butcher it. When you feel
great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. And when you feel great, you just fucking feel great. I mean, that's a win in itself. But, you know, with all the stuff you had going on and still have going on to some degree, obviously, like, you know, I mean, how much easier is it, even in the midst of challenges, how much easier is it now versus how it would have been otherwise?
Well, I don't know how much you want me to say and go into, but honestly, I'd like to tell you a quick story.
Oh, good. Go for it. Yes.
Prior to your course, when there was hearings for what I was going through, and I won't go into much detail, I'll just keep it vague, but I would stare at the clock, know there's a hearing at 9 a.m. Maybe I'm not part of it because it's just, you know, judges, attorneys, everything else. But I'd stare at my email, refresh my email, stare at my email at 9:15, 9:30. Actually, maybe I started at 8:30, 8:45, and I know they're on a call. I was so obsessed with stuff like that. Last Friday, there was a hearing, and the new version of me after your course here, I didn't refresh my email at all. I didn't care about it Friday. I didn't care about it Saturday. I didn't care about Sunday. Actually, my attorney sent me an email Monday, and I really didn't phase me then. But by the way, prior to your course, by 10 a.m., I would have refreshed my 10 a.m. the Friday before. I would have refreshed my email 300 times and been calling him saying, why haven't you let me know what happened this morning? We went till Monday. Really didn't even bother me Monday. I was pushing 72 hours or something. I didn't do the correct math. I was good either way.
Good.
And I've never been like that. Like I said, I would have in the first hour Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. I would have refreshed my email over 300 times and, drove myself nuts. Now I went till Monday and I'm still good either way.
Yeah. You seem a lot. I mean, you seem a lot more peaceful. That's for sure.
I feel a lot more peaceful because I drove myself nuts again. In the 1 hour on a Friday, I can now go till Monday and still be okay with it. Whatever it is, because I'm good either way.
Good, man. So how would you say, compared to how it was, how would you say your quality of life has changed? The quality, the rich detail to be able to, to enjoy. How would you say the quality of life has changed again, just in 6 or 7 weeks?
Well, and the result of that, because I'm good either way, I'm talking better, I'm speaking better. The result of that was I found out Wednesday and I was still good either way. The following Wednesday, I couldn't have made it past Friday morning before. I made it till the following Wednesday and they let me know the result of that because I am speaking better. It was a very positive result. They, I don't know how much you want me to get into, but it was a very positive result.
It's whatever you're comfortable with. I'm only keeping it very generic so you can do that. It's whatever. At the end of the day, all I want people to know is there's a better way. You don't have to suffer. If someone's going through what you're going through, they don't have to suffer. And obviously, the more you do share, the more people will relate to you and say, wow, that's exactly what I'm going through right now. I'm dealing with some challenging stuff. The more you can do that helps other people. They can relate to you more. So I'm just doing it in a very generic way. So you can just talk in whatever, but whatever you want to share is awesome.
I don't care. In my personal case, that following Wednesday that I've been in, this happened because of your course over the past 6+ weeks. They let me go pick up my daughter at daycare for the first time ever. And that was a result of me just speaking better, feeling better, good either way. The things that I'm just a lot more poised, confident, everything like that. So before I would have drove people nuts and they would have been mad at me. Now I'm getting results in my favor that I've never got in 2 years.
Wow, that's awesome. This latest one with her, you be able to pick her up from the daycare. This just happened.
Yeah, that happened Wednesday. I was actually sitting at a visitation center an hour away waiting to see her. And the guardian and the attorneys called me and said, hey, what are you doing today? They said, we ruled in your favor, basically, and you're able to go get your daughter from the daycare center that you were blocked from for the past 2 years for obviously as no reason. But, with the alienation process for over a year and everything. But they said, go get your daughter. I said, wow. But again, I made it till Wednesday. I wouldn't have made it past Friday morning prior to your course without driving somebody nuts and upsetting them, because I was getting upset with, situations like that and my own emotions and stuff like that.
That's fantastic. What a difference.
And that ruling that they did on Friday was probably because of things like this. They've seen that I'm, not, who I was, and, I'm showing up as a, and side note, a week before that, the guardians were at my house to watch me interact with my child. My interactions with my child are more beautiful, more loving, more gracious than ever before. So I love the fact that my little daughter's benefiting from showing up as a whole new me, a loving, happy dad.
Yeah, that's beautiful, John. That's awesome. And that's really fantastic that that's even happened as recently as just the last few days.
Yep, absolutely. And when I called you, I don't know if you want to revert to that at some point, but I'd like to. When I called you, I was 15
sure. Yeah,
plus
please.
months.
Yeah, please.
15 plus months of Groundhog Day. There was times where I was in my deepest, darkest on my knees, and it continued. I couldn't get out of it. The last time that I had anything like that was maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I thought about my little girl, and it got the best of me for maybe 30 to 60 seconds. And because of your course now, instead of it being 15 plus months, I hit my knees, I grabbed the Bible, and I thought for a second. And I said, all right, John, you're done. You got 30, 60 seconds, no more than 2 minutes ever, and you're done.
That's it. That's all you get.
Used to be 15, 18 months. Now it's 60 seconds. All right, John, you know what to do. You got these tools. Go do what you're supposed to do. If not, it's my own
got
fault.
the skill.
Yep. So if I just boost harder and I do tools harder now, but I know instead of 15 or 18 months, now I can pull myself off the floor in 30 seconds, go do what I'm supposed to be doing and be good in 2 minutes.
That's wonderful. What a difference. And thank you for sharing that. Anything you share like that, people just be able to relate to where they understand, because a lot of people are going through the same things you are, just some very unfair, unjust circumstances. And it's like all of a sudden when you're able to show up at a different level, you might not be able to control everything, but you really shift the odds in your favor. And, it's like I tell people, you don't have to suffer. It doesn't have to be some kind of long drawn out. You can actually be able to find real true joy every day, even as you work towards those outcomes. You don't have to, be in some kind of batter's box scenario. It doesn't have to be like that. And the beautiful part is, it's just like, we've talked about before. It's like when you become that different person, that's when all of a sudden things start to, and this is just the beginning for you. Things have to shift in accordance with the version of you that you bring to the table. I just got off with, another one of your classmates, and, he was actually just telling me in our little conversation, and he's very early in, and I was asking the conversation, like, have people noticed so far that you're different? And it's like, well, now I think about it, people are waving at me more, people are engaging me more. And I'm like, well, just so you know, they don't work for me, but that's kind of speak for itself. But the more you take care of yourself, the more you feel great. Like you asked in the beginning, when you feel great, you do great. When you feel great, you speak great. When you feel great, you make different decisions. That's what changes your whole life. And you had some specific areas that were challenging for you, but it doesn't matter what the challenges were. It could be for love, health, wealth, anything across the board. This addresses it all. All of a sudden, you show up at a different level. And also, you don't have to force things so much because you took care of yourself first. And that's why all of a sudden now you're having much more success in a very real practical way in those circumstances that were really challenging before, because it's very hard to convince people to want to do things for you or like in your case, like rule in your favor when they don't enjoy your energy or you're annoying them or whatever. But when you show up at a different level, it's like you get surprises. It's like, hey, John, what are you doing? Want to spend the afternoon with your daughter? It's like, wow, yeah, that's awesome. And this is just the beginning for you. I mean, it really is. Like, it'll be really beautiful to see how you continue to evolve and enjoy. And the greatest part is, you want to talk about a real legacy to give your daughter. You're going to be able to show her a real skill and say, you know what, no matter what you go through, you don't have to suffer. It might be challenging, sure. Can't stop the challenges. That's not in the cards. It might be challenging, sure, but it doesn't have to be some kind of long drawn whatever. And that's the most beautiful gift you'll ever be able to give her. She doesn't have to go through what you went through. No one has to go through that stuff.
I'll put a disclaimer in here that you may not be ready for, but I'm sure you'll enjoy. I don't work for you and you're not paying me for this. How about that? So I knew you'd enjoy that.
Yeah, of course.
But it is a true story. I'm 40 years old, a young 40. No. I spent a lifetime worrying what other people thought of me because of my upbringing, because of, a homeless type of situation with parents and everything. But I wanted everybody in life to think I was a good person and to validate me and to tell me, and to think good of me. And now I don't need any of them to think anything of me because I think it of myself and I don't need their validation. So yes, to your point, I can teach my daughter. And I told a friend of mine today, he's got like a 10, 11-year-old daughter. Me and him discussed like this. And I'm like, dude, the tools I have, this is a world of, we're worried about other people's opinions. I fuck other people's opinions. I want my daughter to know that she's can validate herself and she's going to be loved and we're going to have a good life. And I don't care. Here's the thing. People are going to if she's great at sports, people are going to make fun of her and pick on her. If she's not so great at sports, if she's thin, if she's fat, it's funny. This world picks on you no matter what.
Oh, I think in Australia they call it tall poppy syndrome. It's like, even no matter, I've seen this myself. I mean, look, I mean, not there's people out there that I can, like, I say to myself, if I can contribute even a fraction of what they do, wow, that's just incredible. Like, and again, I'm not, some people have different opinions, but in my opinion, if I'm able to even contribute a fraction of, like, with Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, those kind of people, like those people who I think of as like the modern day prophets of sorts. If I could even contribute because someone like Tony Robbins, for example, look, you can say what you want. Anyone can say what they want, but dude, that guy's a billionaire. And you know what? He clearly loves what he does. He clearly loves influence and being able to change people's lives. So bottom line is, I've learned in my life, you know what? You could be contributing at the most incredible level. There's going to be someone who shits on you. There's going to be someone who, no matter what, they're going to hate you, tell you're a bad person. It's like no matter what you do, no matter what level you contribute at, there's going to be someone who doesn't like you. Like, John, on that note, for example, like, do you remember the first conversation we had? Maybe, I don't know if it's the first one, but you remember when you actually enrolled with me? You remember that one?
Yeah. Yes.
If you remember correctly, I'm not going to say what, but I did something for you, a little gift of sorts in the beginning, and you liked it because it meant I'd skin in the game with you to some degree, but you never expected it. I did it because I wanted to, because I enjoy doing it. And I will get people that I'll talk to them on one call, and they don't understand. They judge it based on my first conversations with them. But remember, you now know this was not fucking easy. This was hard work. And a lot of people, they don't understand. When I speak to them, I'm gauging them. Are you going to do the work like John does? Like, are you going to work at that level? Because it's not a magic trick. And when I speak to somebody who I can tell they're not going to do it. And I'm like, I'm going to avoid that. But I will get some very hateful stuff from those people sometimes. They'll tell me I'm this and that, whatever. I'm like, you don't know me. But, I like to believe, and I like to believe, like, for someone like you, like, I made a real difference for you as far as what I showed you. But no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, there's going to be certain people out there that they're just going to hate on me. And I can't really help that. And the same thing for you, for your daughter. It's good to, it's not a bad thing to just be okay with that and say, you know what, I'm going to do things because it makes me feel good. I feel great. I like to contribute to this level. I like to do nice things for people without needing that validation, that pat on the back from anyone else. Because at the end of the day, not everyone's going to give you a pat on the back. And at the end of the day, some people, no matter how great you do, no matter how beautiful your daughter contributes to the world, she's going to have adversaries. Like a wise man once said, Superman is only Superman because of Lex Luthor. We are all going to have that Lex Luthor in our life. And you know what? You can be mad about it and, I can't believe these people. Or you can say, you know what? This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to really get myself to an even deeper level where I'm able to feel great regardless of the naysayers. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to teach your daughter, especially at such a young age. And that's true freedom. That's the freedom that you're experiencing for the first time in your life, like in the real way. And you're going to be able to teach her that right out of the gate, man. I mean, talk about a real legacy, a real gift to give. That beats any college fund any day of the fucking week. You're giving her the real tools. But, and that's why I tell people, like, you know what? If you had to go through what you went through, John, for her sake, so she doesn't have to go through that, it's not such a bad deal anymore. It's like, it's what a blessing you're able to leave that for her. But it's good that you're teaching that, because it's like, no matter what you do, no matter what level you contribute at, there's going to be someone who just doesn't like you. And it is what it is.
Well, you always use the gym references, and the same with your tool. If you put in the work, you will get results. If you don't do the work, you're not going to. So it takes up, at first, I was skeptical, some internet guy, who knows? Boy, this is a big step. And what does this guy, honestly, I can seriously say, and if anybody listening to this ever needs to call me or something, or link to me on your Facebook page or something, I'll tell them the same. I'll get on and give them a personal opinion. If you do the work and you understand it and you intellectually can jive with it, it will help you the rest of your life. And like you said, use the word legacy. I was going to say that. Generations. I can teach it to my daughter and say, it took me 40 years of survival mode, fighting, to now understand a totally different world that I'm going to live the rest of my life. And everybody around me, I've already, counseled friends and everybody because they've, been miserable or this or that or the other. So I've lightly touched on them. And if they're going to continue, I have friends of 30 years, and I'm like, guys, we're going to have to change our ways here. I'm like, This is no longer a miserable or, humdrum conversations. We're gratitude now. We're happy, and we're gonna, and everybody around me, yes, is like, wow. Oh, and by the way, some of the reasons I'm doing that is because now I'm coming out. Interactions with my daughter might have just prior to this might have been head down, very boring. Now, I took her to the mall last Wednesday because I wasn't allowed to pick her up at daycare yet, and now it went from I'm miserable. I got, my life, this, that. Now it's woohoo. We got a purple Dino. We went to the mall. We had the arcade. That's how it's come now. It went from before where I stared at carpeting and ceilings and maybe didn't want to be here at times to we got a purple Dino. We went to the arcade. It's totally different the way I'm
right.
I love life now. I love life again. And I really didn't 10, 12, 15 months ago.
So okay, so I can appreciate when you and I first connected about 7 weeks ago, there's probably some still, again, I'm still an internet guy, and I understood you kind of took a leap of faith because what other choice did you really have? But I always like this question if I get to ask if I remember to do so. If I had told you you'd be at this level just 6 or 7 weeks later, would you believe me?
Not then, no. Now, yes. And here's the other part of that. Actually, I thought, and I'm very intelligent. I got multiple college degrees. I got a lot of good stuff going on. I've lived a very good life. I thought I'd be smart enough to do it without you, but without the tool, I couldn't have. I would have been a researcher and a data, but without execution, it just doesn't happen. And if you execute on the tool and you study it and you really intellectually connect with it, I see what it is now.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite videos of these is only because in context here. I had a medical director who took the program about a year and a half ago, and this guy knows quite a bit about neuroplasticity, which really that's what this is in a very practical, tangible, touch it, taste it, feel it way. And he came into it with the same thing, a little bit of what's this guy about? Is this for real? But he did this. It's kind of the same thing. It's like, look, I mean, what choice do you really have? And at the end of the day, you take these calculated risks. And I like to hope that when I connect with people on the phone, they at least understand, at least know at some level, I'm going to be better off with this guy. Worse off without him, better off with him. Fuck it. Why not give it a shot? Because nothing else is working. But then they see that, again, like I'm not as crazy as they think I was when they first speak to me. But the guy, it's really awesome in the video. He's like, this line, of course this is going to work. This lines up with everything I know about neuroplasticity, everything I've learned over 30 years. It's consistent. And his words, of course, this is going to work. But yeah, it's a different world. And again, it's such a an eye-opening experience from a feeling perspective because, dude, you lived a certain way for a long time, and it's really like I try to explain. You find out you had a muscle you never knew you had before, and when you go from 0 to even 40, it's like what a massive difference. So it's like you feel in some ways like you're really truly living for the first time in your life. And I say to like, this is the way you're supposed to live. You're not supposed to live the other way. It's fucking terrible. But yeah, I mean, I always appreciate when I speak to someone like yourself, very smart guy, very intelligent, multiple degrees. And at the end of the day, and it's almost like you really want to insist that you can figure it out, read your way to it. But at the end of the day, once you do it, you're like, wow, you know what? I can't believe this is really available to me. But the cool part is just going to be this is the very beginning. You're going to actually start to accelerate. Like you not only do you have the tool, you know how to grow it, evolve with it from now to the end of time, like a muscle. If you got from lifting 100 to 140 pounds, 140 pounds is a hell of a lot better than 100. And that's why you feel so much better. I mean, night and day from where you started, but 140 is still far from what your potential really is. This is just the very, very beginning. That's what's really, really cool too. And it's going to be, you're going to have a lot to share, a lot of people, and people are going to just start coming to you because they're going to see what you dealt with. And like, wow, John, how did you do it? And that's really what's going to draw people to you because they saw what you went through and how hard it was for a long time. And then all of a sudden it's like, you're literally, and which is true, a biologically upgraded version of you. If we took a picture of your brain under a microscope, it would not look the same. You would literally have little muscles that you didn't have before, little neurological networks. So, but to other people don't understand. It's amazing because it's like they don't understand. They really don't understand it. They don't address it at the core, which you did. But this is just the beginning, man. The
Well,
gift of
and
Thanksgiving.
something I was going to comment on too, you kind of mentioned it earlier. I'll touch on two different things, but prior to you, I went to 25, 30 plus counseling sessions, and I did not go to marriage counseling. I didn't have a chance, unfortunately, but I went to personal counseling. But what I've been told about marriage counseling is most people that go to marriage counseling, this is just an example, end up fighting on the way home because they rehash the problem, recycle the problem, cycle, circle, and all they talk about is problems. For me personally, I went to counseling, and yeah, she just wanted to hear about my problems, and I drove home, and it did me no good. I was more miserable on the way home every time, and I was miserable driving there. And honestly, after 25, 30 plus sessions of counseling, didn't do me a single bit of good. You kind of touched on it, and I'll reiterate.
Sure.
Yeah, people were tired of hearing me not only vent or my own misery, and I've lost a lot of friends in the past year and a half because they just don't want to listen to me. At the end of the day, they just wish you'd shut up sometimes, and they sure didn't want to listen to my misery any longer. So one by one, I was pretty much down to my sister, and she didn't want to listen to it anymore either. So I ran out of people
Yeah.
that would listen to my misery. So either I had to snap out of misery and try to regain friendships and be that guy again. There's something about him walking in the room, or I just have to sit here and be miserable by myself the rest of my life because people were sick of me being miserable. So I decided to grab myself by the shirt collar and call you and
Right.
drag myself out of my own misery, because by the way, you kind of mentioned it, kind of drove everybody out of my own life in my own Groundhog Day cycling misery every day. Now I snap out of it, and all those people are not only back, I'm at a higher level than them.
Wonderful. So I have an interesting question for you. I don't know if I've really asked this one before. So if you look back at the last 6 or 7 weeks or so, what has been maybe the biggest surprise? Like, what was like something you didn't expect to happen? There's maybe what was like, can you think of something that was like maybe the biggest surprise, benefit, or outcome you got from this program that you didn't even anticipate?
It just all basically just goes back to feeling better and speaking better. And just, I mean, it's the whole program of gratitude, love, and the fact that, again, my conversations with people who are sick of dealing with me are now, I'm the leader of the conversation with love, gratitude, happiness. And I'm just a ball of energy now that they're confused. I went from being the guy they didn't even want in the room anymore. And they didn't want in the room anymore, to the guy that they want to be like. So how about that?
There you go. There you go. So I think maybe two last questions. So how about this one then? So how do you feel about your life now? How do you feel about the future?
Again, this has changed everything for me for the rest of my life. I wish I would have known it years ago, because I lived in a whole different type of world, and it's going to change everything for my daughter and I's relationship. So this is going to, I can't even begin to describe it. I mean, it's something I get to live. I get to live like this. How about that?
Yeah, you do. You do. Yeah.
I do that every morning. I get to live like this throughout the day.
It's the best. Yeah, it's the best. I love that one.
I get to live like this. I say that countless times a day. So to answer your question the best I can, it's just, I can't even explain how it's going to be the rest of my life. I wish I would have known this 20 plus years ago. Something like that. Yeah.
Here's the good news for you on that one. You know, one of my favorite phrases: the sweet is not as sweet without the sour.
Yeah.
The truth is this: even if you had known about this years ago, like for example, like if you were born into wealth and at 16 years of age, you had a Ferrari and you had all this money, you wouldn't appreciate it. You just kind of like, all right, this is normal. But if you had to work and you were financially strapped for many years, decades, and all of a sudden later in your life you start making some real big money, you'd really appreciate you never had that before. And the interesting part is you probably wouldn't even feel the need to go crazy. You'd just be so grateful that you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want to do it with. And if you want to get a new car, you just feel so grateful, because it's the disparity, it's the difference between the two that really allows you to feel so grateful. And really what makes it a gift is feeling grateful about it. If you're just given something and you're not appreciative of it, is it really a gift? It's how you feel about it. And so the benefit for you actually is you're going to really appreciate what you have because you lived for so many years without it. I mean, how beautiful is that? Ironically, that's what's going to allow you to be so like tears of joy, grateful. Like you said, I get to live like this. I mean, I look back at my life and I do what I do for a reason. My life was fucking miserable for a long time in every category: love, health, and wealth. My whole life was a disaster. And, I look back to when that was and how things are now. And it's not, when that was not that far long ago that I forgot how bad things were. I mean, like really the bottom of the bottom. I mean, I tell people when I speak to them the first time, like, I'm not going to shed a tear for anybody. Like I know where my own dark journey was for a while. And there's nothing someone can tell me I can't relate to at the most basic level, which is very simple. When someone gets to the point where they feel like they don't want to be here anymore, I don't care what the fucking details are. That's all the same at the end of the day. So I know what that one is very, very well like. And so it wasn't that long ago that I forgot how bad things were. But that is what allows me to be so grateful. So here's my main point. I wouldn't change a fucking thing, John. I'm glad I had some dark times many years ago, because that is what allows me to live every day. It's such a beautiful place. The sweet is not as sweet without the sour. I would never change a thing. I'm glad my, a period of my life was fucking dark because that's what allows me to live in the light and really enjoy it. Like you said, grateful for what is and eager for more. I'm so far in bonus territory from where I started. It's like, dude, it's like, I'm good. There's nothing more. But again, that's because I went through such a shitty time for a long time. So in some ways, in an ironic way, it actually serves you. It's that much more of a gift because you didn't have it for a very long time.
Well, and I didn't even mention career. I talked about friends, family, and everybody else was sick of me. I'm a salesman. I represent up to 1,800 accounts and growing every day, like today, for instance. And if I walk in there, even some of my best relationship customers were like, John, they said, we've known you before that. They said, we don't know how to talk to you and what to do anymore. They said, we feel so bad we don't even call you. Because anyways, now I walk in, I sign 3-4 new accounts, maybe today, 1 or 2 yesterday. And I don't know how I kept my job. Prior to my misery, I didn't even want to show up to work or life 45 days in a row sometimes. Now I wake up, I do my morning practice, I do my thing, and I go sign 3 and 4 new accounts a day, which equates literally to they buy materials off me and I make money. So me not showing up to work, honestly, sometimes 30, 45 days in a row, I don't even know how I kept my job. Now I'm showing up, making more money every day and rebuilding my career.
I tell people when they do this program, most people this is not a cheap program, you know that. But with that said, I tell most people, you might not understand that yet, but when you dress this at the core, your whole life will change. You'll show up differently. And again, because you're in the Facebook group with all the other classmates. You see how many people in there getting promotions, bonuses. You're another living example of that. When you show up differently, you feel differently. Just everything has cascading impacts on everything. And all of a sudden, you're making more deals, you're making more money. I would kind of assume you might even came close to getting your money back already from the program, from how much you're making now.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to pan out in that direction,
or at least it's in that direction.
I might not have at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you dress out of the core, everything changes. You sell better. You're better with your clients, your work. You're more likely to get promotions. It's just everything changes because you're dressed in the core. And that's what this was. At the end of the day, it was an emotional conditioning process that literally gives you the ability, the conditioning, the skill to feel the way you want to feel, bounce back in a much quicker amount of time. And that's just what allows you to fully, for the first time in your life, take true control of your life and live life at a level that's actually fucking enjoyable. And that's awesome, man. You didn't tell me that part, but that's very cool to hear that the professional part of your life has reaped the rewards.
Just little things throughout life. Like I said, I get to live like this. I'm good either way. Just weird little things like, you might be pulling into a drive-through. These are true stories that happened to me in the past week. One was today, pulling into a drive-through and there's another car at the same time. I'm good either way. Where in the fuck am I rushing to? Go ahead. And then they're like, no, you go ahead. Well, before, maybe it's like you get a little more angry. Now it's like, well, if I do go, maybe I'll buy theirs. Now it's just a whole different world of gratitude and happiness, and I'm good either way, and I'm not in a hurry. And then a car cut me off today, and normally you try to maybe race them, and they're doing everything, and I'm like, I'm not rushing anywhere. I'm good either way. Go ahead, buddy. Enjoy. Where the fuck am I rushing to? I'm good.
Yeah.
So before, it's almost a road rage scenario. Now I'm good either way. Enjoy. Have a good day. Where in the fuck am I rushing to? So
yeah, where the fuck am I going? So Austin, one last question then. I think it's just a nice little, just way to kind of close off here. again, I can always appreciate. I remember our I don't know if it was our first conversation, but the one where you and I started working together. That one, and I always appreciate when someone speaks to me at that point. They're kind of putting things in my hands to some degree. They're like, I'm gonna go this route here. Hopefully this guy knows what he's really doing. Hopefully it's not just talk. Hopefully he knows what he's doing, and hopefully he'll actually do what he says he's going to do. We all can appreciate being in that circumstance where you're kind of saying, hey, I'm going to put my faith in this individual. I really hope he really can do what he says he's going to do, and I really hope he actually delivers what he says he's going to deliver. So, as from that perspective, to where at that time I was just a guy on Facebook, and you're thinking like, this guy's just here to make money. And again, I make money. There's nothing wrong with making money. When you deliver to a certain level and you deliver, an incredible service like you do for your customers, for example, you're going to get more and more money, more and more business because you deliver at a certain level. There's nothing wrong with making money when you deliver an incredible service. That's just a testament to how good you're doing for other people. Think about it. If you're hiring if you want a certain service you've wanted your whole life and someone can actually deliver it to you, why would you not want to pay them? You understand? So anyway, but my question for you is, to a lot of people that come across me, whether it's on Facebook, Google, or fucking wherever, to a lot of them, a lot of people come on that call with initial sense of cynicism, skepticism. Oh, another guy trying to take my money. He talking all big. If to anybody who comes across my ad, as far as the level of professionalism, the level of knowledge, as far as what I told you I was going to deliver from the first call, when you first gave me payment, from what I told you I was going to deliver, how would you, in your words, how would you describe the experience as far as what I said I was going to do versus how it was over our time together from a professional standpoint?
Pretty easy. There's numerous ways I can say that, but I was skeptical. I sure didn't want to pay that and not get results. And I was very skeptical. Even after I paid it and saw the tool, I was like, oh, how's this going to work? But I said, I better give it a fair chance. Either I can fight with him and try to get my money back. But honestly, I would have ripped myself off in that case by calling you the next day and saying, oh, I see the tool. That ain't going to do nothing. Mm-hmm. I want my money back. I would have literally cost myself. So basically, you can't afford not to in that case, because I know you have people that have not only been skeptical like me, sure, and called you the next day after they see it and they're like, oh, that ain't going to work. I want my money back. You're a scam. Honestly, then you probably almost want to laugh at them because you know what they don't know. And they just literally cost themselves. So they were so close to having everything they could have, a glorious next 20 plus years, the rest of their life, whatever that may be. And you can almost laugh at them and say, you know what, I'm good either way. Here's your money back. And unfortunately, for those that don't do that, they're probably going to suffer. Yep. So you can't afford not to, is what I would say. Now, I was very skeptical. And even when I saw it, I was like, oh, really? But it panned out to be something I look forward to using to get myself out of anything the rest of my life. And I don't even need to get myself out of anything, just little, blurbs in the morning to just have a great day. And again, my daughter's 22 months old right now. And this is something that's going to help her thrive with a better relationship with me and her, happiness. And she's going to take it on in adulthood. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, I'm sure she's going to do great. I've like some people, like it's funny, they'll come onto the calls and I'll actually see their kids in the background participating in the calls. It's pretty cute. But yeah. Look, I've been doing this a long time. I got a lot of people, and I do have, sometimes I'll have people that will sign up that don't have the best, most ethical, whatever. And, as far as their intentions, they're almost looking for problems, whatever. I have that. Look, you can't avoid that. I don't care who you are, what level you deliver at. There's always going to be people out there that they're just coming with such a poison mindset that whatever. And, one of the great things is I've been able to demonstrate to people. It's like when you and I first spoke, before we spoke, I sent you that email, literally dozens and dozens and dozens of videos like this. And I'm like, you think I can make this shit up? Like, if you think this is not beyond obvious that I'm going to take you somewhere, if you're willing to do it, I don't know what else to say. But every so often, I do get someone like that. And unfortunately I've had times where, you just have certain people like that. It's almost like they're intent on just being miserable, Like one of the most recent ones I can remember actually was I had this one lady. She agreed to do the basic version of my program. Didn't do from out of the gate. Just never did anything. She wouldn't even text me. What I asked her, text me, let me know how she's doing. And I would call her, text her, just would disappear. I'm like, what do you want from me? If you're not going to, respond back to me, how can I help you? But at the end of the day, this is the same person. It's like, like there's just certain people like that. It is what it is. But I focus on, I just, like we talked about in the beginning of the call, I focus on a lot of people like yourself, and I make it really clear that if you're willing to do the work, how about this one? This is a good way to kind of conclude this here. I told you when you and I first spoke, I said, listen, John, I'm going to literally put in front of you your guarantee within 24 hours. And you don't get this one every day from people. I said, John, I'm going to put in front of you your guarantee within 24 hours, black and white. Remember the kickoff training. I said, if you do that, it's going to be super clear. It's not going to be convoluted. It's going to be very clear, very black and white. If you do it, I guarantee your result. Did I keep my word?
Absolutely. And like I said, I get to live like this. Unfortunately, Those people that want to be miserable, they get to live like that. I get to live like this.
Some people are going to want to do that. Mm-hmm. Last one, as far from a professional standpoint, as far as time, you obviously know when you start the program, you're expecting a certain amount of time each week. Did I go? How much more would you say I went beyond for you as far as as far as the time you expect, as far as time? Because again, at the end of the day, I have to run it like a business, because I can't have people coming back to me complaining. Again, there's going to be these people. I can't have people complaining, oh, Lance, you promised this and gave that. I overmanage people's expectations. I like, classic phrase. I like to underpromise and overdeliver. As far as what I told you I was going to give you from time, my own personal time versus what you got, would you say I went a little bit beyond?
Absolutely. You were not only flexible in certain scenarios, because yes, you were perfectly fine because, again, I want to get my money's worth, and you were so flexible. I do feel like I got the value.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just want people to know that. It's like, I will do like my whenever I work with somebody, I'm gonna not just meet. I'm not gonna just meet your. I'm not gonna just show up. I'm gonna fucking deliver. I will give you what you're expecting, but I'm gonna go quite a bit more. I have to manage expectations because again, at the end of the day, it is a business, meaning I have to run this in a professional way. But I always make sure that I do the best I can to really let people know, like, hey, it's you and I here. We're gonna do this here, and I'll do whatever it takes to get there. And this is only the minimal bar. This is what you can expect at the minimal, but we're gonna do whatever we got to do here. And I always want people to understand, like, at the end of the day, like whether it's fucking New Year's Eve or whatever it is, if you and I got to go in it together and work together to make sure we get to that next level, I'll do whatever it takes. And I want people to know that, because that's very important. I mean, I make a promise. I try to do everything I can do to deliver that.
You probably extended 4 offers above and beyond that I didn't even take, and you extended other things that was fair to you and fair to me to help with scenarios that popped up along the way. So you actually gave me, like 4 extra things I didn't even use. So that's how fair it was. And I like that idea. You were flexible and fair above what I actually needed or used.